Hey, we're at Acres USA. It's a little bit chilly outside, but we're lucky enough to grab Robin Brekken from Crookston, Minnesota. You have been an organic farmer for a long time. When did you start?
I started my transition in the summer of 1998 and was fully certified in the summer of 2001.
You've been organic long before organic was cool.
Probably.
You've gone through some transitions and you've had some fights.
Yep.
As you see the organic industry changing and going in different directions, what's the good or the bad that you see? What's the good that you see in the transition of organic?
Well, the thought initially was better food. And as the industry matures, I'm frustrated by one aspect of the organic industry is it doesn't quantify nutrition. And I think to the consumer, that's very important. So if you're organically certified, you could be organic by neglect, or you could be organic by intent, and the industry never doesn't separate that. So I think where the organic industry loses a lot of credibility, and I'll just use apples as an example. The consumer goes to the store and think, geez, I've heard a lot about this organic, so I'm going to grab some apples and go home. Except those apples were grown by a guy that's organic by neglect. No mineralization, no soil health. The consumer takes a bite of that apple, spits it in the garbage, never goes back to anything organic again in life. Or maybe by chance, they were lucky enough to grab an apple that was grown by somebody that's organic by intent and is all into the soil health, the mineralization, the sugar production, and take a bite of that apple and they think they died and went to heaven.
Yeah.
Now they're hooked.
Yeah.
But there's not enough hooking going on.
The odds aren't in the organic favor.
No.
Now, when you say this, I believe you're qualified to say this because you are one of the very large growers for Organic Valley hay. When you grow hay, it isn't just green and in a bale.
Nope.
There's many parameters that the dairymen look at that evaluate and set your price. And what you're saying about the fruits and the vegetables, they just get certified. Here it is, organic.
Right.
It may be mushy, it may be tasteless, it may have a worm coming out of it. They wouldn't buy your hay if the value wasn't there, or they'd pay you accordingly for it. Now, there's probably a lot of people that have been growing hay or buying hay. Give me some of the numbers on the relative feed value that you have seen, so anybody that has grown hay can do the, oh my. He isn't just talking the talk, he has walked the walk. So 200, 220, is that a reach or?
No, that's maybe an average.
Have you hit 240s?
Yes.
260?
Yes.
You're answering awfully fast. 280?
Yes.
300?
Yes.
305?
306 is the best hay we've ever produced on my farm.
306.
Correct.
A lot of guys don't realize the scale goes that high. What things did you see in that relative feed value hay that was over 300?
Well, there's a lot of things that go into that score, but we had high sugar. I think, memory serves me right, we were just about 2% calcium. Everything, the digestibility was great. ADF, NDF were tight.
TDN was good?
Yeah, it's all good, or you don't get to that number.
You can't fake that.
No.
Now, in the past, I'm gonna bring up some memories. In the past, you used poultry litter. And when you were spreading that, I think you remember the day. I grabbed some of it and I asked you, I said, do you think there's any glyphosate in here? And I remember your response is like, oh, for crying out loud, are you kidding me? That the glyphosate that may have been applied to that crop or that soil went through the mill, went through the animal, went through all the microbes in the digestive process, and you're telling me, and you think it's still in there. When we tested that, was there any glyphosate in that turkey litter?
Yes.
With the volume that you were putting on, how much free glyphosate were you receiving?
Well, I can tell you the tons of manure we were putting on, which at that time was 3 to 4. And I guess I never put a number to the pounds of active ingredient that were there, but it was way more than I wanted.
The lab calculated that it was a little over half of a full application in 3.5 ton.
Yep.
Did you continue to use that litter?
No.
Why not?
Well, I was inspected that year later after that experiment, and I was describing this to the inspector. And all the inspector said is, all I know is I can't stop you from using it. I thought GMO was taboo and organic. But I guess it's poop, and that makes it okay.
Yeah.
Again, the maturity of the industry, that would be a big part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they also tell me I can't use like ammonium sulfate, which would be really good in my soil, but I can't use it because it's processed. But it's not full of GMO.
But the glyphosate that came in the manure was okay.
That's okay.
Huh. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it sucks.
Open up. Tell me your real feelings.
I think it really sucks.
Okay. With that, do you see a way, and people are going to be people, and not all people are honest, and not all people have the integrity that we'd like. How can this be monitored? Do you have any idea, any solution to the problem?
Well, my solution was quit using it.
Yeah.
So I had no interest in having glyphosate on my farm.
Yeah.
And I viewed that as, problems in life come along for free. Why am I buying one?
Truer words have never been spoken. We've worked together for quite a few years, and the one thing that I've always enjoyed about you is you're honest. Good, bad, or anything in the middle, I never have to wonder where you're at. You're always very good at communicating. For anybody that's thinking about transitioning, is it just about the potential higher profit for organic?
It wasn't for me. Thing that really started coming to my attention is, we used to be one of the bigger farms south of Crookston when I was growing up, and now we're probably one of the smallest. So guys were choosing to expand their farm, which I needed to do as well to capture the scales of economy, because the equipment doesn't get any cheaper and the rents don't get any cheaper. And so I watched a lot of my friends and neighbors increase the size of their farms, so doing a horizontal expansion. And I was looking for a way to leave my farm the same size, because I didn't really want to expand. And I really didn't like getting up every day wondering what I had to kill next. So this kill, kill, kill mentality, I was kind of tired of that. So I viewed going organic as maybe giving me the opportunity to leave my farm the same size. And I had more interest in expanding my farm this way through increased soil health, which will increase yields instead of that way.
Well, and if I can be bold enough to ask, you're not just some little 20-acre scrubby farmer.
No.
Can I ask how many acres you're covering?
I'm a 3,000-acre scrubby farmer.
3,000 acres in any part of the world is a lot of acres.
Yep.
Especially if you're organic.
Yep.
With the small windows of opportunity that you have. In fact, I'm going to bring up something that many farmers this year have been facing with your corn harvest. How has that gone so far?
We've got a third of the corn off and 2/3 of it are in the field, and I'm thinking it'll probably stay there for a while. Snow, moisture's 28%. That's a lot to ask for. So not the desired action, but probably the appropriate action.
With all of the diversity that you have survived and gone through, if there's somebody watching this and they're saying, I'd like to transition into organic and this kind of looks like a good thing, words of wisdom that would help somebody transition into being organic?
Well, I think you better have a pretty good understanding of why you want to be organic. What's your intent? And what's your purpose? And why are you going to leave the world that you're in? And if you're going to do it just for money, I don't think that's the right answer.
You gotta wanna.
You gotta want it. It's a lot of work. There's a lot to learn. But there's a lot of good people in industry that can help you along the way, and many have helped me. And have a plan. I mean, what are you going to grow? How are you going to grow it? How are you going to fertilize it? How are you going to control the weeds? What are your insurance options? Do you have a lender that knows what organic is? Does he understand organic? Is he still going to be your lender if you go organic?
And can he support you or just say, well, good luck?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, there's definitely some hurdles, but
you've been organic for a lot of years, and you've come to the Acres USA conference. What do you hope to capture and learn from this conference?
Right now, probably looking for some markets for corn. We also have some oats, so looking for some markets. The hay has been sold out for a long time because hay is very short this year.
This year's crop, you're all sold out?
All sold out.
Does that happen very often?
Depends how much rain we get, how much hay we make.
Yeah.
It's definitely attached to the volume that gets produced, but there was such a large area of winter kill last year. Southern Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana. There was a lot of rain in December, which put a sheet of ice on everything, and it devastated the crop. And then last spring with all the flooding, late getting crops in. So forage from the end of 2019 into 2020 is going to be a real issue.
Other than weather that we can't control, what have you had as one of your bigger challenges in the evolving and the year to year that you've seen in your organic production?
Well, my soil is very high mag, high bicarbonate, sticky, difficult soil to manage. You got to be patient. If you screw up, you get to look at it all year. So trying to get some oxygen in the soil so we can have an increased level of biological activity with microbes, and trying to, again, just increase production vertically. And it's a challenge in the soil where I live, definitely.
Do you think no-till would work on your farm?
If you wanted to get a overnight stay in a Looney Tune bin, sure.
So you're saying you don't think no-till farming would work on your farm?
I know no-till farming would work.
Okay. All of these people that are talking no-till, 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 what have you seen that has convinced you that no-till isn't a good thing on your particular farm?
Because my pH is 8.1 to 8.2, my CECs are in the mid-30s. Why don't you tell me about your experience this fall testing my soil with a soil probe? That'll give us the answer.
Some of his soil is hell. The third level of hell. The magnesium in your soil is like a spoiled child. And we've disciplined it. And it's not done being disciplined.
Absolutely not.
Have things changed for the better?
I think we are slowly headed in that direction, yes.
Yeah.
But it's just hard to get your head around how much effort it takes to get that kind of soil off the dime.
Yeah. The Red River Valley is very unique soil.
It's a phenomena.
It has great potential, but it definitely has personality.
Yeah, yeah.
You have windows of opportunity.
Yep.
And if you're too early or too late, it will remind you of that.
You pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guys I sell hay to, they're pretty good judges, but it's the cows that really are the judges.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, I can show them a piece of paper. The guys that know what's going on, okay, so it's a piece of paper. Numbers look good. The cows are the final judge and jury.
Yeah.
So, do they eat it? Do they eat it well? Do they eat it all? Do they eat less? What does it do to their mood?
Mood?
Are there, yeah. Are they bitchy like my soil? Or, so.
For the temper tantrums that your soil has shown you, you produce some incredible hay. Now, I've been lucky enough to be on organic dairy farms that are feeding your hay. Mm-hmm. And I need to say something to your customers and future customers, because your hay isn't cheap.
Nope.
But your hay isn't expensive either.
My hay is good value.
Yes. What happens with most dairymen that are organic, rather than feeding the amount of your good hay that they should be, they will take just a slice of the bale and feed a couple, 3, 4, 5 pounds a day. Mm-hmm. And here's what I'm seeing is they will feed it for 30 days with just a small amount. And they say, well, we didn't really see a whole lot in production. We saw our butterfat come up a little bit. We saw our protein bump up a little bit. We saw a couple more pounds. What they don't realize is the first good nutrition that comes in above maintenance goes for body score. Mm-hmm. So your hay is starting to heal some somatic cell count and getting some hooves cleaned up and getting rid of some viruses and some bad bacteria. And many times, if they could just go another 30 days with your good hay, mm-hmm. they would see an unbelievable jump in quality and quantity. But everybody is so tight with the nickel, it's hard to spend if they don't see it right away.
You know what I heard this year?
Nope.
You don't? I heard that my RFQs aren't what they used to be.
Now, what's that mean?
I just have one question. Is the price of milk what it used to be?
Keep going. Keep going.
So, I would agree with that statement, but the price of milk is not what it once was either. And I'll go back to the organic by intent. I spend a lot of money on my hay. Yeah. Okay? Which means I need to get paid for my hay. Yeah. And when the price of milk isn't very good, price of hay suffers. Yeah. When the price of hay suffers, my inputs suffer. Yeah. When my inputs suffer, my quality is going to suffer. Yeah. So, yeah, my RFQs aren't what they used to be. But neither is your milk price. So it's all connected.
Speaking of the dairy industry,
mm-hmm.
a lot of dairymen are frustrated. Mm-hmm. And a lot of hay producers for organic dairies are frustrated. Mm-hmm. Do you see a fix in that? And before, let me back up. For years and years and years, milk was milk. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden there's almond milk, there's rice milk, there's coconut milk, there's oat milk, there's soy milk. Where do you think the dairy industry should have been or needs to be to reestablish that, in our thinking, milk should come from a mammal?
Yep.
With mammary glands.
Yes. The dairy industry was sleeping at the switch. And I'll give all the credit to the almond milk, soy milk, rice milk, oat milk people, because it's all about marketing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The dairy industry, meaning milking an animal, was sleeping at the switch because, in my opinion, and this is the United States, so I can't have an opinion.
Yep.
None of that stuff should have been able to be called milk.
Right.
And now the dairy industry is wondering, why are our sales slipping? Well, that was part of your market that you let go.
They had the whole pie, and now they have a
it.
slice.
Yeah.
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 Do you think there's any chance of regaining that back with the consumer?
Raise the bar.
And that means?
Better quality.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to differentiate yourself. Organic milk has become a commodity, and you need to raise the bar. So, you know, do a lot of work with Organic Valley. I think their milk tastes great. Drink a lot of it myself. You know, they've got to figure out how to differentiate themselves from the rest of the market and disconnect themselves from the commodity milk world. So I think it's going to be kind of a tall order.
Let the consumer know that what they have is something special,
right.
Something good. And many of these other milks may not.
They've got to quantify the nutrition value of their product.
Farming is a huge part of your life. It is your life.
It is my life.
Yeah. Importance, values, intents. You've been here at the conference for a few days. What are you looking forward to as this conference ends?
I'm looking forward to 2019 being over.
Oh, amen.
So I don't think it really matters where you live right now in the country. No. If there's somebody who hasn't had a battle, I don't know who that would be. So it just needs to get in the rearview mirror, and we need to move on.
Importance of family in your operation?
My family has made a lot of sacrifices. And we're probably going to make some changes to realign.
So large farm, large operation, always more to do than what you have help for.
Yep.
You've run the gamut. You've been incredibly successful in the organic farming industry. You still realize that family's number one.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why you do everything you do.
Yeah. Hey, thank you.